Howdy folks, Nathan and Andre here, and this is the world premiere of the 2021 Ford Explorer Timberline. That's right, you're seeing it here. What do we got, bud?
Dude, well, this is very, very important because the Explorer is one of the best-selling vehicles. In fact, it's number 2 bestseller for Ford right now.
Right, it's actually the best-selling SUV like ever.
And also in its class for many, many years, over the years. And it's a brand new trim level that's outdoorsy. And in this video, we have all the data for you, all the specifications, all the features. And let's go over it because is it just an appearance package or there is more to it?
I think there's a little bit more, and I'm feeling the granola right now. So let's hit it.
Let's hit it. So first of all, it's appearing in this new color. They call it Forged Green Metallic.
Okay. It's a good-looking green, but I'm seeing what I think is orange on there. And are those tow hooks that are orange too?
Yes, absolutely. It is my opinion that any off-road vehicle these days must have somehow red or orange tow hooks.
Well, Tommy would agree with you, actually.
Yes.
So,
but you know how it's trendy, right? Mm-hmm. But Ford is actually providing some specifications behind the tow hooks.
No kidding.
Yes, I'm not kidding you. First of all, the color is called red amber tow hooks.
Okay,
yes.
they're red amber.
And they can hold 150% of the GVWR. So gross vehicle weight rating, that's a fully loaded vehicle weight. Mm-hmm. And if you're stuck or you're helping somebody else get unstuck, right? They actually give you a rating for that hook.
So you can pull out your weight, your equivalent
plus 50%.
Plus 50%.
Yeah.
I kind of admire the fact that Ford threw that in there because nobody else does. I don't know of any other automaker that flat out says what you can actually do with their tow hooks. So that's pretty cool.
It's a cold spring day here in Colorado, but summer is just around the corner, and that means you're going to need a Bluetooth speaker. We've been using this Cove Commuter split speaker for over a year now, and it gets crazy loud. Take a listen. Whether you're working in the garage or relaxing outside, just hook up the Bluetooth and let it go. And check this out. Right now the speaker is throwing out 360-degree sound, but if you split the Cove into 2 pieces, you get perfect left and right stereo audio. That's 2 speakers in one, and the battery lasts up to 7 hours on a charge. Right now, you can pick up this Cove Commuter 2 Bluetooth speaker for 67% off or more using the code TFL67, so check them out.
Obviously, it's an Explorer. It's a 3-row family SUV,
right?
But it's a unibody construction,
right?
And it's a rear-wheel drive base platform, although it does have all-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive system.
Okay, now couple questions. Did they lift it?
Yes, they did lift it because this is several other competitors that we'll talk about later.
Oh yeah,
have these outdoors off-road variants, and the Explorer Timberline has a 0.8 of an inch lift.
So less than a full inch, but
yes.
Okay.
Yes, and Ford says most of this lift comes from actually using heavy-duty shocks. And listen to this, because I think this is very interesting. These shocks are very, very similar to the ones used on the Police Interceptor Explorer. Oh. So basically, what you have here is a police truck to take off-road.
Yes, but is it a fast one? That's the question. So, do they talk about powertrains?
Yes. So it's going to be available with a 2.3-liter turbocharged EcoBoost engine.
So that's similar to the one that's in the Ford Ranger, and a bunch of other vehicles.
And the Mustang, too.
And the Mustang.
So they have it in several vehicles. It's really, like I said, a rear-wheel-based platform, and it uses a 10-speed automatic transmission.
Okay.
And this turbocharged engine, this 4-cylinder, is rated at 300 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque in the Explorer, which is more powerful, actually, than the Ranger engine.
Yeah, and it's an interesting thing because there are other powertrains that are out there, including a hybrid and the 3-liter. So I'm guessing one of the things that Ford might say in the future is, at the very least, this powertrain, which we know is an excellent one, by the way, it's really powerful, it's also lighter than the 3-liter and definitely lighter than the hybrid setup.
Yeah, it is. And they didn't mention like the 3-liter V6, like you said, in this initial press release. And I think it's because of how this Timberline edition fits into the rest of the lineup
How does it
for the
fit?
Explorer. We don't know exactly because they didn't announce pricing.
Okay.
So we don't have the exact price, but later on in this video, we'll go over some of the competitor pricing.
Right.
And also pricing on the current Explorer, so you guys can understand. But I think because of this 4-cylinder, I think it's going to be a little bit more affordable.
Right. That
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what else do we get with this package?
Well, dude, we're getting new wheels and tires. So lots of different trim options, and we'll go to the interior in a second.
Okay.
The tires are Bridgestone Dueler, kind of an all-terrain edition. Let me see if I can get a close-up of this tire.
Okay,
there
you
it
go.
is. And actually, so the sizing is 265, 65, R18, which means it's an 18-inch wheel with the tire obviously wrapped around it. And if you convert that size, it's an approximately 31.6-inch tall tire.
31, so just under 32 inch.
So about 32, which
Right.
is sizable, actually.
That's a decent
Yeah.
size, and because of that minor lift and the size, that actually would work out. You're not really losing much when it comes to articulation because you got that extra little lift. Is that a skid plate? Is that a real skid plate?
Yes, dude. You know, a lot of these vehicles have like plastic skid plates.
Yeah,
that
a lot of them do.
appear to be real.
Yeah.
Ford says this is the steel skid plate in the front, and it looks really beefy and really macho. Oh, there's a close-up of the hook.
Oh boy, you and Tommy are going to lose it.
Yeah, I am losing
And
it.
that's definitely like their little brand for that.
Yeah, so it's
special
little like
Timberline.
mountains. Yeah, little etched mountains on the wheel as well. So a lot of detail. We'll talk about towing in a second. But they do say that the skid plate protects the front, the engine transmission. So there's an additional skid plate.
Right.
And also in the rear, but they didn't specify exactly if it's like the fuel
I'm
tank.
curious if it's a fuel tank or
Yeah,
the rear
they didn't
diff.
specify that.
Yeah.
So obviously we cannot wait to get our hands on this one to actually test
Oh
it
hell,
properly.
this is perfect for Colorado. It's turbocharged engine, good for high elevation, and I suspect that it's going to be better in the rough than the regular Explorer. The regular Explorer is okay. It's perfectly good in the snow, but was never really set up for doing anything on any rough roads or any minor challenging terrain. This looks like it's taking care of that.
A towing rating is rated at 5,300 pounds.
Okay.
So it's not that V6 rating that they have, which is about 5,600. And it's also not a hybrid rating.
Right.
So obviously 53 is in the middle. I kind of wish, this is a big 3-row SUV. I wish it towed more, but that's what it is.
Yeah, but that's more than a lot of the competitors out there, just by a little bit, but it's still more.
Yeah, and people might carry these smaller trailers that weigh between 1,000 to 2,000 pounds, maybe a little bit more. So it kind of makes sense, I guess.
Actually, you just recently did a review on a trailer that weighs 2,100 pounds. It's very similar to this one.
Yeah, totally. So total ground clearance on the new Timberline Explorer is 8.7 inches, which is basically like an Outback.
I actually like the new Outback Wilderness. Interesting.
Didn't they lift the Wilderness a little bit?
Yeah, it's a little bit higher now.
So this is a trend, right? Do you want to mention some other
yes,
competitors?
let's go into that. So is there anything else we're missing before we move on to... Why don't we cover the interior and then...
Dude, we're missing so much.
yeah. So
Well,
why don't you
we're not
cover-
missing anything.
Okay. Why don't you cover the interior and then we'll hit the competitors.
By the way, approach angle about 23.5 degrees, which is not great. In my opinion, if you consider some other off-road SUVs. Departure is actually pretty good at 23.7 degrees. Let's look at the interior really quickly because they have updated seats, trim. They call it Deep Cypress. That's the color. And durable materials, right? So it's easily washable. So you have different seat trim options, technology packages.
it's a good-looking
et cetera.
interior.
Yeah.
Ford is really turning around with their interiors.
And also,
serious.
this trim, it kind of looks like alligator. No, but it has
Where do
unique
you
trim.
get alligator from?
I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing things.
Oh, okay. Are you talking about the trim, right?
The silver trim on
Yeah,
the side.
it looks like alligator. Okay, you're here to hear, folks. First, it's alligator. It looks good. I'll say that.
I'm sorry. I was thinking about the Outback.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, but you can see the orange trim is also on the seats. It matches the steering wheel on the inside of the steering wheel. That steering wheel looks really good, by the way. What you're basically getting is branding on the seats, stitching, unique materials on the seats, and the steering wheel.
Yes, and also you're getting 360-degree cameras, Copilot 360, which is their driver assistance technology
Right.
package. So that is included. Also, Assist Plus package is part of this. You're also getting a torsion rear limited slip.
That's good.
Yeah, so really, if you look at the meat of this vehicle, right, you're getting a small lift, better tires for off-roading,
Yeah.
limited slip differential in the back,
And
which is
armor.
important.
Yes.
Four-wheel drive, obviously, armor. So you're getting some good meat with this.
That's impressive because there's a lot of other people out there who do not give you very much for your money when it comes to the special woodsy editions of their vehicles. We'll cover that in a second. Is there anything else?
No, so let's hit the competitors and then
right.
finish up with the availability.
Now we have a small list here of vehicles that technically compete. Now bear in mind, we're only basing this on crossovers that roughly are about the same size as the current Explorer that have 3-row seating, at least as an option, right? So the first one currently is the Nissan Pathfinder, and they have the Rock Creek Edition. Yes, we know a new Pathfinder's coming. We're not talking about that one. We're talking about the current model. The Rock Creek Edition gives you
Badges.
Yeah, and paint and badges.
But it's also green.
Yeah, this is a cool green. It's a pretty green.
You know what's up with this green? It camouflages into everything. So when you're looking at images of this
Yeah, it does kind of bleed in there, doesn't it?
it just disappears into the background.
I personally love that. I'm favorite color is green, especially on vehicles.
Okay, keep going.
Base Camp from Volkswagen Atlas, which I have a lot of experience with. Actually took one to Moab. Thing about the Base Camp is that it really isn't an off-road package either. Now, the Rock Creek, by the way, that's starts at $35,765, and you can get it with 2-wheel drive. Not very off-roady. The base camp from the VW Atlas is actually from a parts catalog. It's a $2,498.99 package before you add the wheels, which really are the main thing. Those are the 1552 wheels. Basically, around $4,000 on top of your base trim all-wheel drive with tow package. VW Atlas will get you this package, and it doesn't do anything for off-roading other than whatever tire you choose. You have to choose your own tire. Okay, so that is not the best package. Kia Sorento, they actually have
the new one.
Yeah, the new one has an X-Line option. Now, this is based on you have to get top of the line with a certain color in order to get the X-Line package. That starts at $42,590, and that gives you color, trim, bumpers, a little tiny bit of a lift, and that's pretty much about it. So nothing in here really seems to be fighting with that Ford. Now, there is one other vehicle that is not a 3-row, but came out a little while ago, and that's the Subaru Outback Wilderness.
Yes.
So Ford's kind of late to the game, honestly, with this special wilderness-style Timberline, whatever outdoorsy thing. Now, the Wilderness starts at $38,120, but once again, it's only 2-row, yet it is more off-roady than your regular Subaru Outback. So those are the main competitors. I know Jeep and all those other guys build vehicles that are very good off-roading, but keep in mind, we're talking about vehicles that are available now that have special editions for outdoorsy types. And really, I think Ford is doing a pretty good job with giving you a lot in terms of making it a little bit more off-road worthy.
Yeah, totally. And I pulled up some pricing really quick on the XLT 4-wheel drive Explorer.
Which would be this model before the build-up.
That's what we're guessing. So the XLT right now, 4-wheel drive Explorer starts at about $37,965, about $38,000. I imagine this package would be several $1,000s. We don't know the exact pricing yet. But if you look at some of the other packages in trucks, like a Tremor package on the Ranger, is around $4,000. So we don't know. But so it could be low 40s. Actually,
I'm guessing they're going to keep it pretty competitive, though, because these prices here go between $38,000 and $42,000 for the ones I just read off.
So that's exactly, I think, where we are.
Right in that sweet spot, right? So that's probably where that's going to be.
So Explorer is very successful, like we said. They sold 27,000 plus SUVs last month in April.
Right.
That's a big number. And now they're expanding their lineup, which is good.
Well, the Ford Explorer, in terms of just a SUV and what the name itself, is one of the most successful SUVs in the United States. It's hugely popular, and they've sold millions of them.
And finally, I have one problem with this.
Okay, what's your problem?
One big problem is the name.
Because of Justin?
No, it's not because of Justin. Because it's confusing. So now Ford has the Raptor truck, the Tremor trucks, which are now going to be 3. Now they have FX4 packages in their trucks and SUVs, right? Like the Expedition. They have the Badlands in the Bronco and the Bronco Sport. And now there's a Timberline. So if I'm a regular consumer entering the dealership, there's a plethora of choice. I might get confused.
You know, I think it's one of those things where Ford saw a need. They realized they didn't have a 3-row Bronco of any sort. So maybe this is answering that. And they're just like, okay, let's put a name in there and make it happen.
Well, let us know what you think. Is it a cool name? Do you like it? Is it confusing? And let us know.
And we're going to do our best to get our hands on one as soon as possible.
And of course, go back to tflcar.com because that's where Zach has all the news there for you right there.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.